Hi folks, I ran into a little trouble with my John Deere 240 skid steer, and I was trying to find some information online, and there wasn't a whole lot available for the do-it-yourselfer kind of guy. So I figured, after getting into the pump, I figured I may as well throw together a little video and just go over some of the things that failed on this unit and show you guys it's maybe not as intimidating as one might think. So if you guys are interested, watch the video and hopefully it helps some of you out there. I'll do my best to get the things on camera that are important. I'm kind of by myself, so it's a little bit of a pain. So let's get into it. Okay, I'm going to try and speak up so you guys can hear what's going on. As you can see, I got this all pulled apart. I've already actually changed the seal in here, which was originally the reason why I took out the pump. I was having oil going into the bell housing area. This seal actually is super easy to change. It's just a snap ring in here, pop out the seal, slide a new one in, put the O-ring back or the snap ring back in, and she's good. Don't actually have to take anything apart on the pump itself. I ordered seals to right away seal up the trunnion, shaft, and the base. And I also ordered it for this pump, the front pump, and that's where we ran into a little more of a surprise. So as you can see, the pump is actually not a lot to it. We got the case, we got the shaft that sits in here, like so. You have your swash plate, which goes down in there, and then you have your pump assembly, which is the rotating assembly, which operates on the swash plate. As you move your lever back and forth, it directs oil and starts pumping. So fairly simple, not cheap. So what I discovered here, when I took this front unit apart, my front needle bearing had cratered. There was some needles missing out of it. Don't know where in the world they would have gone or how they could get out. So that leads me to believe that possibly, actually I know somebody was in this thing in the past because there was some repair sleeves on the trunnion shafts. May have lost a needle out of it. Don't know, but because the needle was missing, it destroyed the hard surface area on the shaft. Now, so I had to order a new shaft. There's two available for this model. There's a serial number break. The later model shaft is 1200 Canadian, or just shy of it. The earlier model is 400. So only difference being spline on the end, coarse spline and a fine spline. The fine spline one is 3 times the price. So as luck would have it, we got the $400 one. Now the other problem that has arisen is, since the everything hammered out, the bearing is now loose. It's not floppy, but I can slide it in kind of like a perfect fit. So we're gonna have to use retaining compound, because this case right here is 3,200 Canadian, and we're not doing that. And just so everyone knows, the complete assembly, rear pump, front pump, and gear pump from John Deere, brand new, is $7,000. So be careful how much money you spend into your old one, especially with labor rates, etc., because it doesn't get long to get up there. So we're gonna clean it out. I'm not gonna yip and yap the whole thing, but I'll just clean it up, get some retaining compound. We're gonna set the bearing in, and then we will assemble the rest of the unit. Okay, so we got brake clean. Get that nice and cleaned out. Okay. Just put a layer inside there. Put a little on the inside or outside of this thing. We'll just kind of let that sit for a few minutes and let it weep if it needs to into the side. This actually kind of rolls around like on a bearing or floats on oil. I'm not sure. I wasn't going to pull it apart just to look. Just make sure it's clean. Got new O-rings. Here. she just pops in. Drip a little oil in there after I get this assembled. Just like so. Two of these bad boys. So these two actually bolt in from underneath the support plate. They're part of what holds the pump down. Same as on this front half here, same idea. So two of these also bolt the pump down. Just going to set two bolts, make sure we're now here on top. I'm just going to show you where the seal surface rides right here. As you know, seals will wear a groove, so they include a little repair sleeve that you tap on to fix that. So it's actually got a couple of things here. So I've already popped in the new seal, and they got this secondary little seal that sits in on the top here as an extra dust cover, I'm guessing. So here we'll lay the O-ring in there. Go. I didn't play with any of the shimming on the bearings. There's no need to touch that. So and then finally on top, come around there. There we are now with the trunnion shaft inside and the drive shaft. And that little action back and forth is all it takes for your forward reverse. One pump drives the left side, one pump drives the right side. And your gear pump does all your hydraulic work for the arms and the bucket and all that. So next is this rotating assembly, which if you dump this upside down, it can all fall apart. So one doesn't want to do that. So what I try and do is get her set in there. It's as simple as that. This sealing surface here mates with that surface there, and it's actually under quite a bit of pressure. When you take the bolts out, she'll actually push apart about 1/8 of an inch. So as you bolt it back together, it's actually quite gets hard to turn the pump. It's easy when you have nothing, but so we're going to make sure we fill this case. I'm actually going to fill it with oil before we install, so that when we fire up we're not running dry. That would probably not be a good thing. Safety first. Can't put this gasket on but one way. It's got dowels. Wonky. So we're going to put grease on these surfaces. So we just threw a little grease on both sides, like so. I know this is a little bit like watching paint dry. I'll try and edit everything up into a little. So there's a needle bearing in here that supports the shaft on this end. Everything here seemed fine. I never bothered playing inside anything here. Just resealed the front pump and replaced the shaft and the needle bearing. There we go. This is what I was talking about here. I'm not sure if you can see the gap here. It's a little heavy to lift. When you take the pump off, she'll spring apart like that. Since I'm a zero expert on these things, you can only assume that that's normal since they both did it. So that's that. Gear pump goes here. That rotation. Upper one is your drive shaft. I do not understand why this is down. This is how it came off. So that's for the right place. So we give it the old equal torque on my Okay guys, that is the whole pump assembly. So there's not really that much to be scared of. First time I've ever been inside one of these. It's very simple design. So I think, you know, most people can tackle that with no problem. Keep things clean and just keep things clean and yeah, that's it. So when I go to install it, I will just video a few of the points that are a real pain, and so people will know what they're getting into, and we'll go from there. Later.